When you think about it, when people term immigration, just depends on your timeline, right? You're an immigrant. When do you measure from? Everyone is an immigrant from somewhere. Whenever I see people have those conversations in America, about these damn immigrants, they're coming over here, these damn immigrants, get out of here, you immigrants. I always wonder what Native Americans must be thinking when they're listening to the words that are being said. People confidently saying, this is not where they came from, this is not their land. And they're like, oh, tell me more, tell me more. They need to go back because this is not their home. Oh, really? Everyone is an immigrant in some way. When you travel, you see this. I say that to people. That's why I always say to people, I go, travel the world. If there's one thing you will never waste your money on, it's traveling. Travel the world. See another place. Discover a different point of view. Traveling is the antidote to ignorance. And that's so true. It changes your mind, your perspective, how you believe, what you believe. And one of the greatest things you can do when you travel, one of the greatest things you can do is traveling to a country where they don't speak your language. That's probably my favorite thing. Going to a place where they don't speak English just to make you realize how insignificant you really are. You're not the center of the universe. There's another world that exists beyond you. I try and do that all the time. I try my utmost. I go to English-speaking countries, but I try every now and again to go to a country where they speak no English, Like recently, I went to Scotland, right? And again, I had an amazing time. The place was beautiful. It was a different culture, rich in history. They have the rolling highlands of Scotland. They've got these castles, beautiful, perfectly preserved, hundreds of years old. In the streets, there's the men playing the bagpipes, wearing the kilts. No black people. But not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Just in a matter-of-fact way, Like when I say that there's no black people in Scotland, I just mean there's no black people. But not like there's a good way and there's a bad. Like the good way is when you get there and you're like, there's no black people. But then there's some places you go and you're like, there's no black people. And that's when you know what I mean? That means some shit went down. You can feel it when you get there. Like Australia. There's no Aborigines. And when you get there, you're like, hey, Australia! You're like, where's all the black people? And they're like, oh, I don't know. They left. You can feel something went wrong. But Scotland doesn't have that, Scotland doesn't have black people because they're further north there were no black people. There's not many black things further north. The further north you go, the whiter things become. It's the people, the Christmas, the bears, everything changes. I'm sure if you went to a Scottish person and said, excuse me, sir, are you racist? He'd be like, I don't know. I never tried. I had so much fun in Scotland. I remember I was in Glasgow for a week. I was driving around in the back of a car, and every single day, I would try and spot black people. It was like a little game that I played by myself. Every day, I would just be there like, black person, black person, black person, black person, black person. Ha! No, statue. Black person, black person, black person, black person, black person, black person. Ha! No reflection. Black person, black person, black person, black person. No black people anywhere. None. And that's why I say traveling is important. Because I'd never been to a place where there were no black people before. It actually made me realize that there'd been an issue that I'd been grappling with for so long. And now finally I had another answer. And that issue was that of James Bond. I'm a big fan of 007, License to Kill. Loved it my whole life. Started with Pierce Brosnan, then went back and watched Connerys and Lazenbys and everyone, all the way through to Daniel Craig. And I love James Bond. And when I found out that Daniel Craig no longer wanted to be James Bond, I was heartbroken. Until I heard that at the top of the list, the potential replacement was a man by the name Idris Elba. And I lost my mind. You can hear the ladies, like, yeah, yeah. And that's what James Bond needs. A ladies' man and a man's man, and Idris has that. He's strong, he's charming, he's got that quiet thing, oh yeah, Idris Elba, oh yeah. Idris Elba, oh yeah. You could just see him playing the dapper spy. And as soon as it was announced, everyone is excited. Everyone was excited until the comment section of the internet came in. Idris Elba, James Bond. And the comment section was like, actually, Idris Elba could not play James Bond. And we were like, why? They're like, because... Because of the shape of his head? What do you say? What do you say? No, because what? Because he's black! James Bond cannot be played by a black man! And as soon as they said that, the internet exploded. Racism! And immediately that happened. I jumped in. I don't even know what it's about half of the time. I just jump in. You just hear racism and I rep my side. I'm just like, racism, racism! Ah, you guys will explain it later. Racism! And I was in there and I was like, what the hell's going on? They're like, James Bond cannot be played by Idris Elba because Idris Elba is a black man and James Bond is white. I was like, well, actually, James Bond is a fictional character and so we can be played by anyone because it is fiction. And they were like, well, when you think about it, James Bond was based on a real man who was white and so he should be played by a real white man. And I was like, well, that just doesn't make sense because if you think about it, Jesus was technically a black man, but he gets played by a white man. So I don't know what your point is, because that's never stopped me from receiving my blessings. I don't know what you're going on about. And they were like, you can't have it. I was like, racism, you can't have it, racism, you can't have it, racism! And then I went to Scotland. I realized that maybe, just maybe, I hadn't given the argument enough thought. Because I love Idris Elba. I want him to play Bond. But if you think about it, James Bond often operates in places like Scotland and the UK and Europe. Because that's where most supervillains choose to reside. I'm assuming it's for tax purposes. No matter how you feel about the issue, you have to admit it would be particularly difficult to be a spy when you are the only black person in town. Your very existence defies your purpose. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying that would be the toughest James Bond movie that was ever made. Can you imagine that scene? Idris Elba, James Bond, planting the C4, blowing up the bad guy's leg, jumping on a bike, riding into the town square in Edinburgh. The bad guy's right behind him. They pull out their guns and start shooting. The chase is on. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Pew! Ding-a-ling, ding, 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 ding. Idris Elba, James Bond, jumps off the bike, runs into a crowded town square. The bad guys are right behind him. He manages to shake them off, pops into a little alley, gets out on the other side, finds a crowded little marketplace, puts a scarf around his head, a fake beard, blends in with a group of monks walking by. The bad guys turn the corner. There it is! James Bond manages to shake them off, gets into another group of areas, pops out on the other side, finds a transportation hub, gets into a bus, the bus goes one way, gets into a tram, the tram goes the other way, the bad guys turn the corner. There it is! The movie will be 10 minutes long. It would end with James Bond panting in an alley. How did you find me? We would lose so many epic scenes. Like that moment where James reveals his name. You know that scene in the casino we always wait for? Him dressed in the tux, playing a high-stakes game of baccarat. See Idris Elba walking over to the bartender now to place that iconic order. Bartender, I'll take my martini shaken, not stirred. The name's James Bond? I know. I'm sorry, mate, have we met? No. I just heard there was a spy in town. Figured it was you.
What gave me away? Is it the way I dress?
Oh, there's just something about you.
Something like what?
You know. It was just crazy, you know. So I had to learn how to drive out here, which was fun. To get a car, obviously. which I just almost couldn't get. You have to fill out forms, and then they want your credits. And in America, credits is very important. I don't understand the concept. I'm in the car dealership, and there's this Asian gentleman helping me. We're going through the forms, and he says, "So how long have you lived in America for?" I said, I haven't lived here for long. He said, "Oh, this not good for you. This not good for you." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, you cannot lease car in America unless you've been here a long time, because then you don't have credit, okay? You don't." I said, "Well, I've got the money to pay for it." He said, "Yeah, that's not the point, okay? That's not the point. In America, okay, in this country, we want credit, okay? Our country focus on credit. If you got good credit, you can buy anything. We don't care about money. We want credit." I said, "Well, credit is the assumption that you can pay back the money." He's like, no, that don't count here, okay? In our country, you have good credit, you can buy anything, okay? You got good credit. He's like, our country. And I was like, look, I hate to be rude, but when you say our country, do you mean our because you live here now, or our because the Chinese own it? And he was like, it's a bit of both, okay? Yeah, but no credit for you, no car. Okay, goodbye. I had to just buy myself a car, this horrible thing, drive around. And that's the worst thing, driving in America, wow. On the other side of the road, you feel like a rebel, until you see the other cars coming, and then it's not so much fun. You know how many times I did that, just going to the wrong side? And don't trust movies. It's not easy to do that whole thing. No, people don't just drive, and they stop. They just look at you and go, "What are you doing?" In the movies, you drive past. "What are you doing?" Aren't you supposed to? No, they don't drive. They just wait for you to turn around, and the street is so small. You're doing one of those turns, just watching them in your shame, just like it's horrible. I had to practice for months. It was the worst. I remember I drove into a street once. I thought I'd learned. It had been months. I'd been doing it well. And then I turned into the wrong way. And I saw this little old Asian lady driving towards me. And I was like, no! And there was nobody else. So I swerved the car around. I was like, whoa! I was like, yeah! Hero! And I drove, and there were 50 cars coming this way. And I was like, you bitch! And I told my friend the story. I told him this. I was like, "Oh, this is what happened." And he was like, "Oh, that's so funny, man. That's so funny." And he's like, "Who was driving the car?" I said, "A little old Asian lady." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you can't say that, man. You can't say that." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, you can't say she's Asian." I said, "Why not?" He's like, "Yeah, because that's racist." I said, "What, that she's Asian?" He's like, nah, if she's a bad driver and you say she's Asian, that's racist. So let me get this straight. Asians are not allowed to be called bad drivers? Is this not racism in itself? Everyone else is allowed the world of bad drivers. But if I'm driving on the freeway behind an Asian person and they're swerving around, and I go, "This bad driver, you drive like crap." And I pull up next to them, I'm like, "Oh, no, sorry. You're not a bad driver. You're just Asian. I'm sorry." Racism in itself? It's madness. So now what I had to do was get around using a GPS, Decided to get one of those. First, I tried to be a cheapskate. I thought, get a phone with a GPS. That was a horrible mistake. Bought myself one of those iPhones with Siri. Your assistant, she talks to you. She listens to you. If you're American, she doesn't understand one word I say. I don't understand why. I speak English, and they're talking to her. Doom, doom. She's like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "Siri, please call Peter." "You want pizza?" No, cancel. "Siri, I need pizza." "You want pizza?" "No, Siri, I want pizza, not pizza." "You want pizza?" No, Siri, what's going on here?" "You want to, Peter, Siri, Peter, Siri, you're not making sense. Siri, are you having an attitude with me? You tell me. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Siri, just listen to me. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Siri, just, bitch. Dialing mom. What the hell? This is horrible. I had to buckle down and buy myself a real GPS to get me around, which has been working like a charm. If you don't have a GPS, you get yourself one. It's the best thing you'll ever do. Just don't make the mistake I made and buy it from Craigslist. I bought one off Craigslist, and the guy who sold it to me didn't tell me that it was a Spanish language GPS, which was not so good. I didn't understand anything she says. Look, I still get around because the arrows are in English, thank God. But otherwise, it was just horrible. And I hated it the first few days. And then I fell in love with her. She's just, you know, I don't understand why more Americans don't speak Spanish. It's such a sexy language. And sitting there and like all the men in here, you want to feel like a man. You get yourself a Spanish GPS. Oh no, you don't understand. Traffic never sounded sexier. It's just like, I just punch in random destinations and she guides me around. She's like, dun dun. Sigue tocó de aquí para conocí. En 200 metros sería la de la cha. And I'm just like, oh shucks, Tom Tom. You say that all the time. This is sexy, you know? She just guides me around. It's beautiful. I love that. I'm going to learn Spanish because of that. Spanish has gone up my list. I had a few languages in Spanish. Spanish was like 6th language. I spoke 4 languages in South Africa. And then the 5th language was going to be Japanese. And then Spanish was, but now Spanish has gone up. Japanese I've had to pause because of the earthquake. There's not that many of them traveling now. So it's sad. There's no one now. There's like walk around the streets, just, you know. But Spanish has gone up. Because I was getting good at Japanese, don't get me wrong. I was getting really good. You know, I could say, and it's a great language. It's powerful. Because you speak Japanese from your chest. It makes you feel strong. Hey there. Yeah. Very strong. Whereas English you speak from the head and the chest. You know? Do you know what I mean? You speak it head and chest. You wouldn't know this. You wouldn't know this if you listen to many coastal girls in America. Like I've been in places like California where women insist on speaking English from their nose, which is not the correct. Yeah, like, oh my God, are you guys gonna like do this? And I was like there with Tiffany and we were talking and that's not the right way. You're not using your lungs. I know this because when I choked her, she sounded exactly the same. Was then she's like, oh my God, you're like totally choking me right now and I can't breathe and this is so not on. I am so gonna tweet about this. This is like the worst thing ever. Oh, I am so dying. OMG. You know, it's horrible. Whereas Japanese is strong. Japanese you speak from the chest, you know. A lot of the Americans are learning Chinese, I've seen. You know, Chinese, I see people say, you gotta learn Chinese. They're taking over. Chinese. Ni hao ma. Shi xing ni. Chinese. It's too late. It's too late to learn Chinese. It's over. No, it's true. It's true. Because it's also one of the hardest languages in the world. I mean, how do you learn Chinese now? Just, you know, they've got over 10,000 characters in the alphabet. You know this? 10,000 characters. We've got 26 in English. And there's still people going, what comes after Q? 26. This is, you know, 10,000 they've got. That's super smart. Although they must have the worst Sesame Street in the world. It must suck being a Muppet in that country. I can just see them on a Monday morning singing to the kids. 5 years later. It's just horrible. Horrible. Japanese is easier. 3,000 characters and a stronger language. Hey there. I mean, everything in Japanese is strong. Even the greeting. Konnichiwa. Power. Thank you. Domo. Arigato. Power. Yes, it's a great language. You can say other things as well, like kujire gambare, which means good luck, dolphin. Granted, not very usable in everyday language, but yeah, it works, I guess, you know, it works. I could also say other things like, huh, niwa torigaita, which means, look, the chickens are running around. You laugh, but I've used this successfully on many occasions. By many occasions, I mean once. I was in an airport, standing at the baggage carousel, and this Japanese guy came and he stood next to me. And we're standing there, and I look at him, and I've been waiting for years to speak Japanese. I was super excited. I was like, what? This guy's Japanese. And he's like, I can hear you. I said, oh, sorry, I thought I was thinking. Are you Japanese? He's like, yes, I am a Japanese. I'm like, oh. konnichiwa. He's like, oh, konnichiwa. Pleasure to meet you. I said, oh, domo arigato. I said, oh, arigato maste. You speak very good Japanese. I was like, oh yeah. So I looked over and I went, kujire gambare. I'm not a dolphin. But thank you for the good luck. I was like, I can't believe this works. I looked over, I was like, oh, niwa, torigai ta. He was like, I don't see the chicken everywhere. You speak a very strange Japanese. Where did you learn? I said, I learned in all different places, all over my life. Why do you speak English with a Japanese accent now? I don't know. I get carried away. You freaking me out. I'm freaking out too. You guys have been so much fun, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming to the show. That textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America that gets people riled up and gets them fired up, fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, you know? And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. You know? If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control. You don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control. People cannot afford to live anywhere. Your salaries have never kept up with inflation. Corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going. You know? Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly, who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out, they go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue. And then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it. Who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's going to stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's going to enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're gonna figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're gonna fight because you gotta know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, Hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. Like, how does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually... In fact, any man in here, I don't, like, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell. There is no stain. There is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady's pooing. Never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee. It takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hands, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurant. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work? Huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing? Huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But like, just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away, and I get hard, and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place. Have you guys seen our president? Huh? Have you seen him lately? Oh man, he's back. He's back and better than ever before, you know? The last few months have been so taxing on him. People fighting with him in parliament, shouting things at him. He's been stressed, sitting in a corner, quiet, all to himself. And then he found out that he would be paying nothing, absolutely nothing for the upgrades at Nkandla. And he walked into parliament, a new man. Had a bounce in his step. He had his swag back. Jacob 2.0. I mean, he's still doing the same things, making the same mistakes, but now he has a certain level of panache. I saw him mess up a speech the other day, stumbled on a word like he always does. This time though, he didn't frown, he didn't get stressed. He just worked through it. And here we can clearly see there are red marble. A marble red marble. A premeditated. Just came back and he handled it. I love how he just stepped away and did the cutest little, I don't even know what he was doing there. He just does like a little, almost like he's just moving his brain to the other side of his head. Like he knows when it's in the wrong place, it doesn't, he just shook it up. And he came back in. Even the way he handled the scandal was powerful. We thought for sure that Nkandla would be his downfall, and yet Jacob Zuma took something so serious, he turned it into a joke and threw it back in our faces. Where we are clearly living in a place where there is a poverty of politics, people asking questions, but they don't want answers, questions, more answers. We're investigating, they ask again, questions, more answers. Then in parliament, we're here, point of order, yes, Nkandla. Thixo wase George Koch. Who's this guy? Huh? He's just shrugging it off, evading, maneuvering. Never mind the Nkandla joke. I love the fact that he rolled his eyes. That blew my mind. I've never seen Jacob Zuma do that. He looked over and he was like, oh. When did Jacob Zuma start rolling his eyes? That's not something he does. Jacob Zuma doesn't roll his eyes, guys. Yeah. In fact, presidents don't roll their eyes. It's not a very presidential thing to do in parliament, to roll your eyes at the opposition. Even the most defiant rulers in the world don't roll their eyes. When the UN is telling the leader of North Korea to stop making nuclear weapons, you don't see Kim Jong-un going, oh, whatever. You don't roll your eyes. But Jacob Zuma did. And he did it in style. I want to know where he learned it, how he learned it. Has he been doing this for a while? Yeah, because rolling your eyes is part of an attitude. You don't just roll your eyes. If you roll your eyes, you got that sass, you bitchy, you know? Is he doing more than that? Now I see Jacob in a totally different light. Now I'm picturing him hanging out with the rest of the ANC comrades, chatting about these problems. President, they want to know where's the money, Mr. President. Where did the money go? And he's like, I'm in relicas. Over and over. They keep asking me. I mean, literally, I'm dying now. Like, can't they get over it? Like that music guy, get a life already. Just because you hang with white chicks, I mean, please, whatever. Is that what he's doing? And if he is, where did he learn that? Where do you learn to roll your eyes at that age? That's what I want to know. It's not your friends. It's not your colleagues. It's probably your kids. Yeah, you learn bad habits at home. Jacob Zuma probably learned it from one of his children in the house. One of his daughters, maybe. She was going out for a night with her friends, caught her as she was leaving.
Hey, when Tombazan, where are you going dressed like that?
Dad, I told you, I'm going out with my friends. I'm going to a party.
First of all, you are already in a party. Secondly, no daughter of mine will dress like that. Go and change.
Oh, Dad, what are you doing? You're killing me. Come on, why are you doing this? I can dress however I want. I'm old enough.
Hey, you will do as I say. As long as you are living under my roofs, which I have paid for with other people's monies, you will obey me. Go and change.
Oh, Dad, come on. Why are you doing this? Everyone else dresses like this. All the other kids do it.
Are all the other kids my children?
You never know.
Eh? Don't come in this house with that DA attitude. Go and change now.
Whatever.
What was that? What did you just do?
I didn't do anything, Daddy.
Don't lie to me. I saw it. You did something with your eyes. It looked like the Undertaker. But they came back. What was that?
I just rolled my eyes, Dad.
Girl, it made me feel so insignificant. What you did there made me feel like you did not acknowledge the seriousness of this situation. Can you teach me how to do that?
Yeah, like, it's easy. Like, you just roll your eyes. If someone says something you don't like, then you're just like, whatever.
Whatever.
No, Dad, whoa, that's too much. That's too much. You just gotta loosen up, you know? Just be like, whatever.
Whatever. I think I got it.
No, you don't have it, Dad. You're rolling your head. You're supposed to roll your eyes.
And my eyes are where? Exactly.
And he was off.
Ready to roll, baby.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can win cool prizes. And by prizes, I mean surprise. There's no prizes. It's a free YouTube video, you greedy. Just click the video, man. Why you want free things on free things?